Now, in the interest of engaging with our members and also just picking feedback that will help us in ensuring continuous improvement, and also just in the interest of addressing frequently asked questions, at this point, we just want to take some 5 minutes or so to allow the council to pick any questions that you think would be important at this stage before we present the rapporteur's report. And if you may then allow me at this stage to invite the chair of the council, Mr. John Karani, to officiate that part of the program. Let us appreciate him as he's coming.
Can I kindly ask my council members to join me on the stage? So I think this is, thank you, Bwana Sio. Let's appreciate Sio one more time. We still have a good sizable number, and I thought we should take advantage of this opportunity to engage you, our members, on these issues that frequently occur and are asked in you know, I always say, like we had the media session on Tuesday, it's important that we are in the area of more transparency and sharing as much information as we can. Because I always say this, we have nothing to hide. It's not our business, it's your business. It's not our institute, it's our institute. So therefore, it's imperative that we share any questions that are in our hearts, in our minds, as we are transforming this into what I'll call even a membership forum. For those of you who have actually paid to be here, it's important to give you that chance to ventilate, to discuss issues that are, you know, troubling you anyway. Like yesterday, we had a Funguaro session kidogo, but I think now it's good to formalize it and literally say, as we were told by Madam Nancy Gadungu, what are our pain points? Can we talk about them? This meant to give us a safe space. We said what happens in Mombasa remains in Mombasa. So I want to open it up to us members to really say, how can we make our institute a truly member-driven institute that responds to your issues, that's agile, that is indeed a place you can feel at home to ventilate on issues that pertain to us. We still have our DG here, and I was telling him, I was being asked in another forum about issues about low-value procurement, direct procurement, specially permitted procurement, how these ones are abused, and indeed he will talk to us later on. But we want to take a very short time just for you, our members, to talk to us, ask us, what can we do better, as we also work on enhancing our service delivery to you and making sure next year is even a better year for us as members and as supply chain professionals. I always tell people, when they tell me we have done a lot of work, I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. We just scratched the surface. How can we do better together? And for me, the gift of feedback is what I'm asking us to give us right now. So you have the opportunity now, my colleagues, just tell it to us. Say it as it is. And say your name, Gina, even though we know you, Philomena.
My name is Flomina Gina. When I was standing there, I was standing as a board member, but now I'm speaking as a member now of KISM. All of us are seeing what is happening in Wanunuzi. And there's a bill which is going on, which is being discussed there. And we know the level that the bill has gone. And what I can say, tell the council members and the CEO, one thing they should know is that we cannot stay without a professional body. That's one thing. Because if we don't have a professional body, there is no one who is going to recognize us in this country. And the way the bill is going, because we can hear like licenses will be issued even by PPRA or CPD or what, and that will be the end of us. So please explain to us what is happening and what you are doing to mitigate this issue. And don't joke with these people, they are lawyers. They are moving. It's not that they are stopping. Thank you.
Personally, to say that I think the council has done quite, if I look at the scorecard. It's been something that has really been impressive. Two issues that maybe I want to raise up. One, from where I work, and the issues that are being raised on the profession. I know we are going to do a migration, and I think we talked about it this morning, of so many people who have CIPS and all these other certificates. If our local certificates have been infiltrated by fakeness, and to uphold the ethics and integrity of our certification, it will be something proactive now to do verifications of those certificates that are going to be used for prior learning, so that we uphold that ethical standard. Because from 1st of January, we can authenticate those certificates that will be issued by KISM. That's one. The second, I know it's been the pie for supply chain, and the risk in supply chain is that if you're not in employment, outside is not clear. One area that maybe we need to challenge the council or a good regulator is the issue about audits. How can we make it compulsory, just like financial audits, that each entity to undertake, both in the public and private sector, that each entity to undertake a procurement internal audit by a professional. And you'll see how that space will be opened. So it's maybe through developing standards that will be used for audits, and then we entrench it, as we were challenged yesterday by the Prime Cabinet Secretary, that we entrench it and make it a requirement that each entity submit an audit. And that will lessen the issues about PPRA audits, because it will be a compulsory that you must upload an audit for the last financial year. It will widen the space because so many professionals will get the job to do audits, and then the issue about competition within the space of training shall lessen, and we improve on the agency and the individual consultancy. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best. We shall be behind you until the end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Very good questions. Now you can get Senior Kitui to say something. He always has something to say anyway.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Again, we must sincerely appreciate the work of the council. From where I sit, I'll give you a 7 out of 10 for the good work you've done so far. Just some concerns. I realized from the last conference, there are gaps on follow-up of the issues which were raised. We may not at this particular time want to pull you down. We appreciate that you are also reorganizing KISM to get the other management team, which you have now brought on board. Now, having said that, going forward, I don't think in the next conference, for those who will be around, we'll be expecting that when we want to give a scorecard of what has happened now, you struggle the way you struggled to come up with a report yesterday. Now, my request is that could we have some timelines on engagement, on the feedback, on the issues may be raised, so that there's proper tracking on the issue, like I'll say the issue of foreign, getting a few of our people maybe upgraded the foreign missions. It's very clear that nothing happened since the head of public service gave the directive last time. My take is that if we could have tried to follow up, maybe today we'll be having some missions with procurement officers posted there. I'll also request that this issue of the review of the Act, if we could have a strategy and timeline on how to do it. As my friend here said, if we don't do it, there are people just there scavenging to take advantage of this, and we might be shoved out of the process. So we can only take charge if we demonstrate that we have a clear roadmap on what we want to do and how we are doing it. Having said that, the issue of the mission goes, of course, with the issue of the schools. Why can we have very clear? Because if we bring all schools on board, we might be creating about, I'm told, about 30,000 jobs for the young graduates which KISM is trying to roll out. We are creating employment for them. So let's be very clear and have a strategy on how to do that. Because the issue of maybe enforcement, when Juki has done his part, he has done a memo, who is supposed to follow up for compliance purpose, so that we get these guys also absorbed. Finally, Chair, yesterday and Light Strike, we attended the cocktail. And from what I observed as an old man, I noticed that these people, our colleagues here, actually over 70% might be having some psychological issues. Lifestyle concern, healthy concerns, you know, being the environment they work in. I actually admired one of the ladies who was dancing there, and I realized it was a very, very good commercial break for her. So I would request this chairman, why can't you have a psychological center on KISM towers? You know, what these guys go through actually is not easy. And engage professional psychologists so that when you are hit left and center, you could go there and share your frustrations and maybe get some assistance there. Thank you, Chair.
Let's appreciate Senior Kitui for that. Thank you so much. We can take two more. I haven't gotten any ladies to say anything. Huh? There's somebody at the back then.
Philip Odoyo, I work with ADC,
Thank you,
Agricultural Development Corporation, as head of procurement. I have around 3 issues that I need to raise before my colleagues. And I may be fortunate that I've actually worked in the financial sector, in the bank, so I was doing the procurement for the banks. I've also worked in the manufacturing sector, which is also a parastatal, and where mostly procurement is exposed a lot. By the way, in the service industry, there is no much procurement. And the other issue that why I needed to talk today is, one, the first day of our meeting, I think, DG started even condemning us as the professionals, that corruption is with us. And it is the bedroom of the corruption with the professionals. Most of us here, I heard you saying, yes, it is okay. I tried to raise my voice, it is no. What I know with corruption, where it starts, and possibly where it ends, our problem is the act. And it is high time we reviewed the act and involve those who understand and those who have worked mostly in the manufacturing. I've also done a bit of some comparison why, especially in the sugar industry, where the government mills, all of them have collapsed, while the private are working and they don't use the act. So we have to ask ourselves, where are we wrong? If you go to the act, everything is the user. From tender opening to evaluation to inspection, everything is the user. If you go to the schedules, from all the schedules except the schedule 9 or 11 for the professional opinion, all of them, it is the user and the CEO. I'm requesting the members, let us relook to help this country. If you look at the major scandals, which they did not find themselves to the PPRA, I don't know who advised, who canceled them. And then, actually, there was some consultant. Maybe they did not get their way to the court order, but there were scandals. For example, take the case of Kenya Power, the meters. What happened? It means the procurement that were done for those meters, and they were over 2 billion, they were done like somebody who is buying groceries. And every procurement, every category, the complexity of the procurement has its own circle. Those who do the approval, including the user department, do they understand these circles of these procurements? For example, when I talk of these ones from Kenya Power, it means these things were bought when they were nearing their end of life. Who did example, who did the inspection, who came up with the specs. The second thing, recently we read about the locomotives. 11, only one is working. It means the software and everything of these locomotives, they were bought when they are near ending their lifetime. They have only served this nation for close to only 3 years. So where is the corruption? The corruption is with the user department and the CEO. And then there's another office that we should also look at. Most of us, we have the committees, especially the budget committee. The budget committee, you know, these people, they don't innovate. They don't come with these things like the specs, or, you know, these things are done by the brokers. Let us accept. They come, they say, and we need to change this. It is brought to us. You don't know what they do. They are evaluated as such with, actually, the next one is the public works. I don't know who has ever worked with the public works. Nobody will ever agree to work with even the public, and that is a government agency. Any evaluation they are doing from the answer. You know, it is very funny when you work with them, where do we go then? And you also know, as the council members, there are several contracts that the government has entered with other entities here. Have you gone through those contracts? They are more expensive than even the open tender that we do. And these are obvious things, and we just keep quiet. So to me, the corruption of supply of substandard items is what is eating this country, is finishing this country completely. If you go through the roads, the other one talked, I come from Kisumu. Those who go, you go through the narrow way. You know, the holes, the pothole, no. Who does the inspection of this? Who came up with the specs? Are they the engineers? And then the procurement, you have said we just facilitate, and we facilitate, no, the wrong things. So when we will be reviewing, you look for the people who understand. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philip. Can we get some ladies in this? I have not seen any lady. Others, Beatrice, I'll have to volunteer you.
Then, you know, the other day, a friend of mine, he sent me a list and he said, oh, can you check your institution is on this list? Then I checked and then I said, wow, for sure it is there. I had done a little bit what is required, but how, so it can be better if, friends, by the time you release the list of shame, and you have our contacts there as heads of procurement, why don't you just release that circular or maybe a memo or even a letter, because you have our details that we intend to release this list. Can you check your position? And then we can be able to clarify before this list of shame appears in the wherever it is. If that can be done, I think we can be comfortable on that. And then two, friends, we are struggling with the issue of corruption. And each and every other organization, each and every person who is in the process of this procurement, they heap a lot of blame on procurement as if we are the ones who are harboring this corruption, forgetting that procurement is a chain. You're just a small part of that particular chain. So I want to propose one thing. Friends, corruption can be mentioned, but you as a person, you are not mentioned. It's possible that the process may have issues, and if you have thoroughly delinked yourself from the personal interest that can be spotted around that particular transaction, then it can be mentioned, and when they go deeper, they will be able to find the perpetrators of corruption around that particular process. So the biggest trouble that we have, friends, and we should be able to call it very loudly, is quite a number of us, we have a personal interest that sometimes they supersede the interest of the organization that we work for. I'll take an example like if you do not have any personal interest in the process, you know, you can easily be able to pick out a skewed specification. You can be able to pick it up. And because you do not have any interest about that, you can be able to quickly question it. But the problem is, you receive a skewed specification, and you condone it because you know maybe at the end of the process, there could be something for you in a personal way. So you do not question. And friends, when things become haywire, you will be in the same process. So how I pray that, friends, if we can be able to delink ourselves completely from any personal interest that you could be having in the process, and then things can be able to happen. You have given your professional opinion. You have guided the process very well. And if a forensic audit is done, your name will not be able to appear anywhere. Because I can tell you, if the forensic audit can be able to be done on all the processes that we do, the perpetrators, the real perpetrators of the issues, they can be picked out. So I pray that we delink ourselves from that, and then it shall be well.
So much. We'll take one more, and then we can really answer this. Go ahead, Beatrice.
The gentleman was purporting to speak on behalf of the late, which it is not allowed. I just want to make a comment on the mechanism for checking if somebody is a licensed practitioner. What I see in the LSK is that we have what is called, you can just go to the LSK portal, check if a lawyer is really a lawyer or if they are purporting to be one. So if you want to check a licensed practitioner, I think you can borrow the same for supply chain practitioners. And anyone who would want to check can just quickly go and check and see that the person who acted on this item was a licensed as is required by law. Secondly, Chair, this is a comment I've been wanting to make all along, and I don't know yet to do it now. And it is more directed to PPRA because we are about to do the implementation of the EPG. And I know the moment we start implementation of EPG, we will have a flurry of court people running to court to say, why are we being forced to implement this EPG? Because when I look at the law provides that you may use electronic systems to do procurement. But you see, it does not make it a requirement. And when you say you may, I can go to court and say, why are we being forced to use electronic system? And yet, first of all, we don't have the established system to be able to use it. And secondly, you might be targeting people who have those kind of systems. I know in Kenyan we actually do electronic tendering, but the EPG is going to now be compulsory for everyone. So just to prepare, I think the PPRA need to do an amendment of the law so that the law makes it compulsory for it to be done. Otherwise, we will end up just like the PPIP portal, where people don't report, and there's nothing you will do to them if they don't report. Maybe just put them on the list of shame. And last week I was there when they were commissioning the portal, and the reports coming in was that the usage was very low. So I foresee a situation where when we do implement the EGP, it's going to meet the same kind of resistance. And if it is not made a legal requirement, then it may not get the traction that might be required so that we can get the benefits that we were told about the other day. Otherwise, thank you, Chair. And thank you for this forum. It was indeed a wonderful forum that we've had an opportunity to share a lot on issues to do that affect our business. Thank you very much.
Yes, I appreciate Beatrice. Great. Thank you. Can we respond to those ones, and then we'll see if there's time to take any more. Let me start with CM Moses as we go that way.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just pick a few that I may have something to say about. One is the issue that was raised by Flomina on the bill currently in Parliament. I may not have details about the bill itself, but I want to tackle an issue called misinformation and disinformation. Many times some of the communication that goes out in the media, in the social media particularly, is not accurate. But of course we are aware there is a member who's also come up with their own bill. What I understand is that there are institutions which are mandated to process bills. So even if they would go in that direction, they would still be referred back to the institution. But Chair will maybe speak more about it. The concern is we have a lot of wrong communication that goes out there. But I think also as a challenge to us in the Council is to also do what we call proactive disclosure of information to guide where there is misinformation. That's one. Secondly, I'll speak about the question raised by Eddie on verification of the RPL licensing. As you're aware, KISM, and the chair of KISM is here, the CEO is here, is an accredited qualification awarding institution by Kenya National Qualification Authority. So they have pre-audits and post-audits. If they issue a wrongful certificate, they'll be audited post to correct. The beauty about focusing now on CPSPK is that if there's an issue that we want to correct, we just go the floor above to contact KISM, and corrections will be done faster. So it's relatively safe then if we use the certification from KISM because there's audit elements. They're not likely to go wrong on that. I'll speak about opportunities for members. I think Eddie spoke about deliberately creating opportunities for our members to get gainful engagements. But I'll give examples of other professional bodies. I think the configuration of what I would call the institute currently is good but can be enhanced. If you look at doctors and lawyers, for instance, they are predominantly consultants. That's why you go to a doctor and pay a medical consultancy fee. Engineers as well. Lawyers also, there's an advocate's fee. And I think yesterday DG was talking about, we are also consultants, quote unquote, because of giving the professional opinion, but we are paid a salary. So we need to start focusing on the fee aspects. Most of us are in employment, which is very good, but we need to consider deployment. And what I mean by that is then creating opportunities along various categories of the supply chain. There is the buying, which is procurement. There is logistics. There is distribution, warehousing, et cetera, and creating job lines out of that. And indeed then, audit is one area that we can take advantage. Yesterday, or the other day when the Auditor General was here, we actually would have raised the question of how can we use supply chain-oriented auditors to carry out the audits that they do, because we normally are audited by accountants who sometimes are misaligned in terms of what happens in the actual procurement process. So those are the job lines we want to create so that there is more opportunities for our members. I think there's also the issue of public procurement agencies, which the DG has spoken about. The uptake ideally should be by the private sector people, but that is still very low. Those are other opportunities. You look at lawyers, they have various categories: finance lawyers, conveyancing lawyers, environment lawyers, and they are consultants by that. And so they are able to get a lot more from the market than we get when we are employed. So we are thinking actively of how many more opportunities we can create for members so that they can also become, they can get more from the market. Then I'll skip to the question of, the last one, the question of registration, verification of membership license that was asked by Beatrice. I think we got significant support from the World Bank, which assisted us to enhance our automated system. It's about 25 million or so. So the system is now properly reconfigured. It can issue an electronic membership card. It can issue an e-license, and we have a verification system. So what we are waiting for is to engage World Bank in a launch and then start rolling it out. So we easily can confirm that in the new year we'll be having the e-license system just like the other professional bodies do, and you can verify who is a member at your desktop. You can also renew your membership, and you can get instant licensing. So these are some of the things that we have done to improve. Of course, the other evidence to confirm that you're a member is the gazetting. The law requires in SPMA, I think Regulation 27, requires that we gazette our members annually as what they say, prima facie evidence that you are a member of the institute. So there's also the mechanisms to ensure that that is done. Thank you. I'll leave the others to the other council members. Chair.
Thank you so much. CM Jennifer, you can take the next set of questions that you can answer.
I do not want to take much time. I'll just speak on 3 issues and the rest can be handled by the other people. But first, I appreciate the compliments. Indeed, it gives me pleasure having been the chair of the Professional Standards Committee and as a council member that we have, you said 7 out of 10, which means we have exceeded expectations. It met expectations in the CBC language, but yet, thanks for the compliments. On the misinformation, I will not mention that. CM Moses has said it. We will seek to have more proactive disclosure to avoid a lot of ambiguities, especially in our social media, where we clarify issues on the KISM, on welfare issues, and on the SPMA. Kitui talked about timelines on the resolutions of this, or the promises that or the resolutions that come out of this engagement. I'm sure that's something that we shall take up very keenly. And right now we have a very able team at the Secretariat who will be able to guide us in that so that we can ensure our members are updated and we fulfill our wishes as an institute. Now, on the issue that Beatrice raised on publishing the list of members, as you may be aware, we had the issue of the CPD guidelines, which were challenged in court. Now, remember, for us to publish the list of members and licensed members, then it is tied to members who have met the requirements of the SPMA Act. Now, remember, we could not implement the issue of CPDs from when the matter was tabled in court until when the CPD guidelines were approved by Parliament. So we had a period where we could not implement issues of for it to be licensed, you must have a certain CPD or whatever CPD requirements. So, and as CM Moses has put it, now we have all the legal instruments to confirm who are the licensed members, and therefore now the publishing process will come in and you'll be able to check who is a licensed member of the institute. I'll also take this as part of to invite all of us to check and test the new system. As you've been told, KISM has rolled out a new system, a self-service portal, or enhanced whatever was there. So seek to update your records. So that again, when we publish, you'd not say you're in the list of shame and you are not consulted. So kindly just interact with the system so that whatever issues you have can be sorted out before the list is published. But of course, we shall notify members before the list is published. I really welcome the comments again by Beatrice on the issue of EGP. And maybe, DG, this is an area that we really need to sensitize stakeholders, because as it is even now, we may have marginalized people in terms of the blind, marginalized in terms of people who cannot access systems, but you can also learn from best examples like KRA, because everybody pays taxes through the systems. There are no manual systems at KRA. So if government has moved then we should all be able to migrate there. But with ICT systems, we have also to engage really stakeholders, and that's an area we will really partner with PPRA and other stakeholders. Lastly, on the issue of audits, making it compulsory, I think there are many areas and opportunities for growth as an institute. And this is one area that we can really take up. You heard even the Auditor General challenging us whether we have this expertise. We have, and the last conference, the chief head of public service also challenged us that he wanted board members, and the few members that he had nominated could not pass the test. So let's also be prepared for these opportunities when we ask for them. So how do we get to be prepared? Because I'll give an example, and I'm not sure I have the correct numbers, but when Wanjuki advertised for agents, there were very many applicants. Maybe CM Kirungu can tell us how many. But how many qualified? How many of us applied maybe? Did anybody in this room apply to be an agent? Or we are all employed? Did any of us know anybody who applied to be an agent? Do you know, honestly? Do you know any procurement practitioner that applied? Because he will tell you, very few of our members came up. If to do ISPAC, I'm just giving an example of ISPAC or LSK, said from today going forward, we need all legal services provided in the country by lawyers to the bottom line, because that's the opportunity PPRA gave us as practitioners. And they are aware that all these schools do not have procurement practitioners. They are aware that several government agencies do not have procurement practitioners, and they can use that opportunity. They will even leave their jobs, take a license, isn't it? If today accountants were given the same opportunity we have, we still have graduates. I see a lot of us, I'm not saying this because I'm employed, but you see a lot of graduates, a lot of people working there complaining, but are we taking up these opportunities? And one thing I like PPRA about that issue, as we even talk about audits, they locked it to KISM members. Crown Agents has gone down. That's a multinational, isn't it? It's unfortunate. And our members lost jobs. Crown Agents may also have applied, but they could not get it because they are not KISM members. Those are opportunities that have been locked for our members. So even when we say we want to do audits and do all this and open up opportunities, are our members preparing themselves? PPP is an area that I think the CEO talked about yesterday. Our members there to take up these jobs. So it's a challenge for all of us, even as we ask the Institute, we will support you with the infrastructure, but we also have to start preparing ourselves and take up these opportunities. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you so much, CM. Let's take another few minutes. Let's appreciate CM Jennifer. As I ask colleague Jeremiah to take the next set of questions and be as brief as we can.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the members for raising some pertinent issues, questions that could enable us get some eye-openers and see some opportunities that we have never been able to tap in the past. I think Moses has been able to talk about the integrity on certifications, but in addition to the certificates that are going to be issued by KISM, I think Eddie was also saying that even as these members of ours apply, there are other certificates that they are also going to attach, maybe academic certificates, and those could be having issues. So the challenge here is that how do we ensure that those certificates are genuine? Now this is as opposed to what KISM is going to issue. I think we need now to probably create some modalities so that we tell them to bring those certified copies and certified by those people qualified enough to take responsibility and say, assure us that yes, we were able to look at the original certificates and this one is a genuine copy. There was also something about the audits. I just want to comment about the audits that are normally done by the PPRA. I also know that the PPRA has some challenges because of staffing and requiring a lot of resources to mount very vigorous audits. I'm seeing a lot of opportunities there, and especially for our members. Because when you look at those audits touching on the procurement process, I think that is where we can also be able to take advantage and especially the people that are practicing as consultants, the ones that were able to register as also as consultants with the PPRA. But most importantly, the Auditor General said something very important, where we can be able to have this as a quick win, that even before the act is reviewed to accommodate supply chain management people as experts to run with the procurement process itself, we can also be aware, we should be aware that our area could be looked at as those special areas, the way they normally have electrical engineers running with processes that have been done by electrical engineers, where we have ICT experts. So right now, I think through the chair and the CEO, KISM, we could now engage the Auditor General, and we present our members, because you have the pool with those consultants who could be called upon even at very quick notices to be able to assist the Auditor General for the purpose of running with the procurement processes. This is something that we can take advantage of, because this does not require a lot of other things to be done. Then again, Mr. Gitui, in a very humorous way, talked about the psychological issues, and for sure, we have a big problem. What we go through from Monday to Friday, and even weekends, is terrible. Procurement is a very terrible area. I normally say that it's tougher than even atomic science. And therefore, maybe we may not have a center for a start, but there are quick wins that the institute can take care of. For example, where we mount these virtual platforms, we can ensure that we spend some extra coins on a CEO and ensure that our members are even given those free lectures by those experts, because we have very qualified experts here in this country, just in the afternoon. And I think that is something that you can easily take care of. I know we were also supposed to have somebody talking to us here, and it was unfortunate that that person did not turn up. It could have been a very good opportunity for us to get some kind of therapy. The other thing that I want to talk about is, yes, this list of shame, as my brother Namasaka said. I want to imagine that the other list that was to come is just about to be released. And sometimes there could be a lot of opportunities, even when we have a lot of diversity. So what am I seeing here? There are those many schools and colleges that have been doing amorphous procurements here and there, and they have not been complying. I think my prayer is that the DG moves with speed and releases that list, so that everybody can be aware that these are areas that require fixing today and not tomorrow. And what does that bring to us as a profession? Yeah, when we talk about now the procurement engines and the disposal engines, Now it becomes live that these are things that must be done, because the regulator's business is not just to give us the list of shame. There could be the underlying implications and actions that should be taken today rather than tomorrow. So the other thing as raised by Beatrice was about that portal. I think Chair and CEO KISM, it's the high time we took this route, as taken by professions like the lawyers, so that when you just want to know the status of anybody, you just tapping the name, and then you can be able to see whether this person is supposed to be practicing supply chain management or is, and of course within very short timelines. It's a quick win that we can accommodate. Chair, thank you very much. Let me stop there.
Much. Let's appreciate CM Jeremiah. I can see CM Kirungu is here, but I know he's a substantive holder of this role is the DG. Can I allow him to respond to the issues? I want to say something. Let the DG respond to these issues. Karibu DG, and I know you like standing here.
Thank you for those questions. Thank you for the questions. Maybe to go straight on the issue of EGP. EGP is a shared responsibility between the National Treasury and PPRA in terms of implementation. Most of the issues that are being raised will definitely fall under National Treasury before the system is rolled out. But what we expect is that this system should be in a position to be integrated with other systems that some of the Ps have. As my colleague here did mention about Kengen, they have invested a lot of money in that system, millions of shillings. We don't expect that that system will just be packed, but what will be required is that you will be integrated into the EGP system. That I definitely expect it is a win. On the question as that EGP should have been made in the law, it is shall not may. We all appreciate that we are at different levels of technology, right from the institution to even some of the areas that the Ps are located, including that primary school that you went to. If we made it mandatory at this level, it might work against. So the issue of May was the best direction, but we do hope that at a time it will come that we can say that everyone is on a system. And as you all know, today there are some establishments you can't pay using cash, is it? Yet it has not been made anywhere in the law that you can't use cash. But you know very well, you go to an establishment, they tell you, you pay via M-Pesa or you do a bank transfer. So there are issues that we have to go through. Now, I want to address the concern list by Namasaka and also the colleague from ADC, if I'm not wrong. Is it ADC? Yes, Philip, on the issue of corruption. My good people, we can't run away from this elephant called corruption as long as you are in procurement. Let's not lie. And if you want to say you can run away from it, just read the act. Show me any other legal instrument in this country which uses the language that is used in this act. Is there any other? For avoidance of doubt, for greater certainty. Which other? Is there any other? Because this law was brought to deal with a mischief. And let us accept this mischief did not start from the users. It started within us. Let's not lie. Who receives the tender documents? Procurement, isn't it? Who stores them? Procurement. How did they start flying at night? How did they start being plucked? Those copies. And these are officers who we work with. We can't run away from this. I have been a practitioner and I have seen it. We were told you must paginate from page 1 to the last page. Why was it being done that? To avoid. We must also up our game. And what I said, and I'll keep saying, please just do the right thing. You may be alone in that corner, but just do the right thing. Today, we find at the review board, where documents are brought, the page has been plucked, another page has been put, pagination is in a different color. It is that blatant. Manakilaka, are you here? Secretary to the review board. If he tells you the things we see at the review board, you would be shocked. There's an affidavit, provided that that document was not in the set of documents, yet there is a set of documents from the P with that page. Then you ask, even where did you read this from? So, as procurement practitioners, this thing, I will go to what Namasaka said. It starts and ends there. If you have no interest, you will deal with this issue. The minute we all agree, I have no any interest in this procurement, other than to ensure that my employer gets value for money. That's the beginning. Then the other group will also follow. But the reality is, procurement, and it is not that it is not known, you get the flack of the bread. The real meat on bone is with those people you call users, isn't it? The meat on bone, the users. But unfortunately, we don't raise the voices. You get the skewed evaluation criteria, very skewed. You pass it. After all, you don't have time to read the document. When you're evaluating, that's when you get surprised to see that, and I hope my friend is not here, you ask for 3 years bank statements. 3 years bank statements, for heaven's sake. In a tender, how did you end up to have? By the way, there is a character who managed to put 3 years bank statement in that tender. Why? Because he is the targeted person. The others are known, they will not provide. Even you, if you ask your 3 years bank statement, how many pages are they? And for your information, certified by a commissioner of oath. How? Honestly. Unless you tell me I didn't read that document, is it? Okay. So the real issues, and let's be honest, we are in what insurance call the proximate cause. We are not necessarily the cause. There was an accident, you hit the other guy, but the real reason why you hit the person in front of you, you are avoiding to hit Wanjuki who was walking. But you are the cause. But the real cause is not you, but your approximate cause. So we must align us and ask ourselves, and we can't be wrong. A former head of state said 2 billion corruption every day. Another one has said, Shetani urala wapi? Procurement. Sindio? Those are not my words. And still, because I still want to insist, another one has said the epicenter is in procurement. Yet we are the owners of the process. How can we run away from it? We can't run away. We must face things. And the way we face it, just keep off this thing called interest. Namasaka started, he has made it very easy. Just start from there and edit from there. If there is no interest, you will raise it. If you have no interest in it, you raise these issues. But if you have interest, and I know the interests are not with the people seated in front of me. It's not that I'm a stranger in this thing. The interests come from other offices. You are told, do it or... No, the statement comes like this. Where is that procurement? Yes, I want it done by tomorrow. I was sharing with the people in TVET or in schools. You are told the exam is on Monday. It is on Thursday, 3 days to the exam. There are chemicals to be bought. They were not known all the years. What do you expect this person to do? Which procurement method should that person use? Direct. Even if you have a framework contract, you don't know which chemicals will be, to whether to procure that. So even in the institutional area of where we operate, they facilitate this thing, and this thing called corruption. But I also want to go further and say, corruption is beyond the corruption we see. It's also perception. And we won't run away from perception because people will have their views. You may not do much about it, but can we be seen to be proactive? Okay, then with that, I hope I have answered. And to allay your fears, good people, and Kitui has said, most of those of us who have been heads of procurement, and for that matter, serious procurement, suffer from psychological issues. And how have they been manifested in the law? Professional opinion must be signed within a day from the date you receive the evaluation committee. True or false? If you are walking you have been called to school to pick your child to take to hospital, do you sign the professional opinion or do you go to take the child to hospital? It is in this law. How it ended up a day, I don't know, and maybe those who read it. Do you know the reason? So that you don't have a day to go and canvass on it in that bar or chama. It has to be signed. If it comes to the accounting officer has to approve the professional or decline within. Why won't you go talking to yourself when you are walking? Nimeacha your professional opinion. Ukijiongelesha, isn't it? Am I talking to people who are facing this issue? And if you don't sign that professional opinion within a day, the internal auditor, the external auditor, PPRA, EACC, and DCI will accuse you that you flouted the laws, isn't it? So what do you do? What do you do? You backdate. We know. Why are we lying? You backdate, isn't it? Why are we? But the law has also promoted, what has it done? It has also promoted mischievous actions. And the reality is, as the gentleman did say, the true position is that the act has certain elements which promotes dishonesty. And this is the time, and I put this before you as the regulator, please, this is the time the president has given us an opportunity to do the act that we know can land this country without the current issues we have with the current procurement law. I'm the regulator and I can confirm. When you tell me not that no error should be corrected, and it is an error, why should it be corrected, isn't it? When you say the document must be paginated and there's a page which is not paginated, that page has no relevance with the tender. And you disqualify that tender. I was telling another group, I think you are there, most of you have done masters, have done a thesis. Where did you paginate the cover page? Is this document paginated page 1? Here. Yet you disqualify somebody because he has not paginated page 1. Isn't it? Am I talking to the people who deal with it? It's the reality, and let us accept. How did this law come to get us here? It is not the law that is bad. We found ourselves there. We dug ourselves in this hole, even as a country, whereby our morals our value system went so low that even everything has to be registered. So the question of corruption, we must fight it. The Act will not fight it, but let us take this opportunity, and I hope Bwana Kilungu will, as the one representing the council in the DG in the council, will bring also KISM on board as we review this Act. And let us put the provisions of the law which can work. And I'm saying this, it is the same group seated in front of me who do World Bank tenders. Very, very well, isn't it? Is there anywhere it is written, paginate the document in the guidelines? Is there? They talk and they say, kama hiyo ni ataona, you keep on, kama ni ya government of Kenya, hiyo tunaweza cheza karate still. Okay, I hope you have heard me on that issue. We are the same people who deal with the World Bank procurement procedure. They do not have some of the things that are in the procurement law as it is today. The question is, we must change ourselves. And it has nothing to do with the law. The law is a guide, but we must do what is right. And the last thing on that, the chair had asked me to raise some issues on what are the areas that you have as a regulator we need to raise to all of you. One is misuse of requests for quotations. Requests for quotations. And if you are from the county, please listen to me. Tenders for roads in the counties are being done under request for quotation. True? The road is done from this village. Once ikifika the other part of the ward, hiyo ni a different quotation. From this junction to the other junction, that's a different quotation. Argument is, MCA has said that tender must be awarded to the locals. This is real. And the people from the county know that. And I know they are not doing that willingly. They are doing under coercion. If you don't do it, you will be impeached. So the pressure is known. It is not a lie. Governors have called me and have told me, DG, how can you help us? I want to do the right thing. Gen Zs are telling me they want to come and salimia me. That the tenders which have been awarded in this county are given to certain families, certain supporters of the MCA, certain. How did they turn up there? And at the end of the day, the governor is being blamed, but it is because of how. How can we stop it? Heads of procurement, I know it is not easy, but try. There is no way to convince the people that it is not the head of procurement who did a request for quotation for a tender. It was a 20 million. It was broken into 6 lots of 3 million. 3 million and a request for quotation. All of them are owned by the same person, though different companies, but the face is one. Direct procurements, of course, I don't need to belabor on that. It is misused day in, day out. And the people who are blamed is heads of procurement. So that just realize this. Specially permitted is another frontier of misuse of and how procurements are getting there. It is good idea when you are starting, but how it heads up, it is well calculated. And here procurement, you are not there. Before this is done, money was already aligned to be specially permitted. You have no space in this area. The other issue is transfer of procurement responsibility from your entities to other entities. I don't need to name them. Isn't? You find a procurement is in your entity, it is being transferred to another entity. That other entity, there's maybe even a junior procurement professional who is being told he's the one who is supposed to do. Yet it leaves you. Unfortunately, it is under approval of DGPPRA. Yeah? He's the one who approves. But the letter that comes with the justification, it is fully justified why we need to transfer, and the DG can only deal with it. The other issue that you all need to address, reporting lines of supply chain. I think, Chair, you mentioned I need to talk about this. The head of procurement function is the head of department, reporting to the accounting officer. Are we okay on that? It's a head of department. Departments like finance, departments like HR, departments like ICT. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know how it works. There are also institutions which have conglomerated a number of departments and put them under a director or another person by whatever name. They call them director, corporate services. Please, this is an area which is very debatable. If somebody is in charge of several departments, the reality is he can only be higher, a grade higher than you may be because you are head of department. The other one is a head of directorate. But like all things that happen in institutions, organizational structures are political. Very political. When those organizational structures are being drawn, please, heads of procurement, I hope I'm addressing all of you here, put some interest. Ukikosa kuwa kwa meza, please, then you eat what you will be served. Are we together? Those instruments called HR instrument, and I have told other people in other forums, ensure you are part of them, debating on them. Don't say that is the day you have to evaluate that tender, which the boss has said you must be a member. Please go to those meetings. Understand the structures. Otherwise, that is where you are fixed and you report to admin because somebody wants. So I hope I've addressed. You must fight for your space as heads of procurement. Why do we need you to fight our space as a regulator? Because it means how you deal with your work. If you allow the function of procurement to be put at the level whereby it is negligible in terms of its influence on the strategic direction of the organization, then that is how the procurement function will be treated. So you must fight for that space, but of course, fight it diplomatically. You don't need to send letters and emails saying, DG told us we must fight. So, yeah, that is it. List of shame. I don't recall having a list of shame, but there is a list of non-compliant. But next time it might be exactly that. Please comply. The law says that you must put the procurement plan in the portal. You must advertise in the portal. Why must somebody follow you up? You don't need to be followed up. Just do the right thing, whether the law says or otherwise. Put it in the portal. The other issues will follow. You don't have to get a letter from PPRA to remind you that we will put you in the list of shame or whatever list of that one. No, and I know we have done to remind there are some of you who found yourself in that list. You had received several letters, but none of them has been responded to because instructions are very clear. Don't dare post anything to that thing of DGPPRA. I wish you well. Wait until the day you will be out on a disciplinary matter. You want to get documents to support your case, you call your colleagues, and no one picks your phone call. No one picks your phone call. I'm saying this, I stayed 6 months out, so I have an idea. Thank you.
Let's appreciate Bwana DG. Wow. Hope you found that useful. Unfortunately, our time is fast spent, and I would have really loved to have a bigger session to ventilate over these issues. But our lunch time has arrived already. Will you allow us to end it here? Yeah. Before we do that, I'll ask, let me release my council members. I shall ask the CEO to come over. I hope we've responded to all the things. There are quite a number of issues that we have captured, and I know we don't have time to put them here in terms of action plans, but allow me to let the CEO just summarize a few things as we go to the next step, because we'll close lunch very soon. Is that okay? But thank you so much, guys. I want to appreciate you, and each one of you, you're absolutely what makes KISM what it is. And I want to thank you for having been here from Monday until now. We'll make it better with your support, with your input, with your feedback. This is our forum. This is our institution. God bless you all. Asante sana.
So thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Chairman, and thank you very much, DG PPRA. DG, clearly the things that you are putting forward are pertinent issues and important issues. Perhaps what could also help is to find a way of fast-tracking the development of a manual. The version of 2009 used to be very useful, the general manual for procurement and asset disposal. I think we can discuss this with the National Treasury, because I know now that is their mandate, so that we can be able to support the members to have a manual that they can refer to, especially on most operational and process-based issues. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we just want to rush and go through the rapporteur's report in the interest of ensuring that we have documented all the feedback that you have captured here, and also agreeing on the roadmap. We take note that, I do it from here? Yes, so we are all aware why we are here. We are here for the Heads of Procurement and Supply Chain Forum. This is the 3rd edition. And during this forum, our chief guest yesterday was the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. The purpose for this forum, one was to enhance leadership capabilities through experiential exchange, and also to foster collaboration and partnership as we share best practices, as we also seek to advocate for policy reforms and regulatory changes that improve supply chain resilience and efficiency. And I think that's what is coming out quite aggressively, noting the ensuing conversations. The other objective was to just establish a knowledge-sharing platform and community of practice as we leverage on our capabilities and also technology. So during this forum, we have had a total of 329 heads of procurement and supply chain practice in the country. We had resource persons comprising of 38 industry captains who have talked to you. We had 8 council members present, and we had the program running from Monday and ending today. We have also taken the opportunity to serve our members during this forum. We have those who have renewed their licenses, who are present in this forum, the 30 of you. And we have also issued and have members collect their licenses and also registration documents in the manner indicated. So I think what generally we can summarize as some of the challenges and also the opportunities that we see moving forward is around the space of technology, the centrality of collaboration and partnerships, the need for continuous professional development, tackling corruption and governance and accountability gaps that we have witnessed. And we also noted the impact of the withdrawal of the finance bill in the work that we do as practitioners. And we also recognized the educational pathways, which is also a challenge in itself, but also an opportunity. So noting the remarks at high level, one of the key things that the that we noted when we had the opening remarks of the PS National Treasury is that all the challenges that we have noted, there ought to be a mechanism of now putting them together in one document, and we have been directed by the PS National Treasury under the convenership of the Director of Public Procurement on behalf of the National Treasury to bring together the leadership of KISM, PPRA, KISEP, and PPRB to discuss and make proposals aimed at fast-tracking the directives of the President. We all noted the directive that the President issued when he was appointing the new cabinet, and the challenge is on us as the leadership of these institutions to now run with this. We don't want, again, lawyers and other people to take advantage of this process, and we have already discussed with the DG and Director Korir and the leadership of KISEP that next week we will be meeting to set a date for that important conversation. The other important aspect to note was around leveraging technology. We noted the presentation that was made by Konza CEO, by Director Korir, and also in terms of next steps around that. But I will not want to go into the details of that because of time, because I have a summarized version of what we picked as action points. We noted what the Auditor General and the Controller of Budget challenged us about, thinking about a safe space for practitioners where you can be able to have a mechanism of still sharing your concerns without being victimized, and that is one of the action points that we will be following up on as KISM to ensure that it is done. The Prime Cabinet Secretary yesterday noted our concerns, the justification on appointing supply chain professionals to task forces and all governance structures in government across public sector, the specific areas that we need to be a bit granular about when it comes to the support that we require from the government, making PPP processes part of procurement processes, but looking also holistically and around the totality of it so that we can see the reform proposals that can be put forward around PPPs to make it part and parcel of procurement processes as is the best practice obtaining in most other jurisdictions. We have seen concerns around entrenching ethics and integrity, which has been talked about quite aptly. The aspects around strengthening our institutional organs, especially the disciplinary mechanisms, so that we can be able to now say that the institute is properly capacitated when it comes to handling professional misconduct, to reduce the chances of our members being victimized or being taken to court on matters that are not necessarily criminal in nature. We have also been challenged to look at the multiplier effect ensuing from the conflict of interest bill, and also to see how we can be able to embody and fast-track the processes of enhancing of collaboration and partnerships through MOUs with the law enforcement institutions, including building partnerships around capacity development programs, training opportunities, and individual capacity development programs, among others. So we can be able to say then, in summary, that during this forum, it has been agreed inter alia, among others, that number one, under the convenership of the National Treasury, the Director of Public Procurement will convene a meeting between KISM, PPRA, KISEP, and PPRB to discuss the proposed amendments to the procurement law and accelerate reform implementation. What we have also agreed at the leadership level, in the interest of getting it right, we will also be co-opting from time to time practitioners in procurement and supply chain management so that we can pick your views and ensure that the views that we put forward when it comes to legislative development and amendments are issues that talk to your requirements. That is the first point. The second point is about KISM engaging the National Treasury on linking EGP to the KISM membership database to lock out non-practitioners. And I think this is the point where I said I was not quite convinced by the position of the DG when it comes to strengthening this space, I said that we need not to be expansionary when we are talking about legislative amendments. We need to be consolidatory when it comes to that. That means we need to be strengthening what is already in place. So for example, if KISM already has a mandate on registration and licensing, I'm not quite persuaded DG would need another platform of clearance for the banks or the insurance industry. I think what we need to do is to just strengthen this place, and what we can consider is OCDS standards, so that when there are linkages between the EGP and even the PPIP portal, and even the IPRS, and we link it now with the refurbished KISM ERP system, we can still be able to do, and that we can still be able to enhance compliance when it comes to the quirks that we want to eradicate in this space. The third point that I think has also been quite prominent in this forum is about enforcing school procurement departments, following up on the PPRA circular and providing support through KISM, and also leveraging on other innovations to tackle the unemployment process. I think there are proposals around having the youth take up some of these opportunities, and there are also proposals around procurement agency arrangement being strengthened to mitigate that gap. We will be able to discuss this with PPRA so that we can be able to see how to make a difference. The next point is about strengthening disciplinary procedures in KISM as per the Act, which I've already talked about. I've also talked about the conflict of interest bill and the multiplier effect around it. We have talked about fast-tracking the signing of MOU between KISM and EACC and other investigative agencies so that we can be able to have an integrated referral mechanism so that if there are complaints around professional misconduct, they are referred back to the Institute in good time so that we don't crowd our adjudication and prosecution systems with cases that end up not going anywhere, and yet careers of people are destroyed in the process. I think the other thing that was discussed is a follow-up on the engagement of supply chain practitioners, and that is around the scheme of service. We will be putting it together in a granular document that will be presented to the PCS so that they can be able to help us lobby with the government to mitigate the concerns that have been put forward. There was also the issue of sharing specific areas in a granular format that requires support and amendments in law to the Prime Cabinet Secretary. We have convened a small technical team to help us now unpack all these issues with very, very clear timelines, and that document will be presented next week to the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary in form of a memorandum emanating from this important conference. We have also noted the concern around following up on opportunities with the Office of the Auditor General for practitioners. We have also noted the issues around providing more information about the CPD guidelines, the RPL direction, and the CPSPK mandatory qualifications requirements, so that we can be able to sensitize our members in the interest of understanding the direction that we are taking to alleviate the concerns around misinformation. There is also the issues around foreign attaches opportunities, which we have been requested to follow up with the Minister of Foreign Affairs through the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary in the interest of creating opportunities for our members who are responsible for procurement undertakings in those diplomatic establishments and installations. And then lastly is the scheme of service for supply chain management cadre, which I've already talked about. But in summary, I just want to say that all these issues, the 13 issues, and all other issues that the Secretariat is still compiling will be put together, and we have taken the email addresses of all participants in this forum. We will be able to share with you by form of update how we have documented them, so that on a quarterly basis in our reports that we continue to give, we can be able to update you on the progress that we are making. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the summary of the Rapporteurs' report. And once again, we thank you for your patience, indulgence, and also perseverance. I've taken note that you have taken the entire lunchtime, but you're very, very committed. You've been very patient with us. We look forward to working with you as we deepen the impact that we are making in professionalization of supply chain practice in our country. With that said, I now wish to invite the chair one more time to come and guide us on how to close this forum. Thank you.
Wow, can we stand up as we come to the close? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. I would like to let you know that this will not just be an event, but it will be not just a function, but an event that will be following up actively throughout the year. I will keep updating you, as the CEO has said. So remember that we are stronger together. And let's unite to make our profession a profession we'll all be proud of. So let me commit this time for prayer. From here, we'll just go for lunch, straight in the, you know where to do that anyway. But for me, your feedback is so important to really making this a better and better session next year. It looks like somebody has something to say. Come and tell me. Or you can say it. Say it, brother.
Thank you, Chair. Just two announcements as we go on. As you're going around the exhibitions, there was Willie Homes, one of our sponsors. We've not had a chance to bring them on board here, but maybe as we'll be finishing, we'll just get a chance for them to do that. The second one, as agreed, all the attendance plus your receipts will be sent to you by mail. We are not printing the receipts and the attendance, so everything will be done in a soft copy. So you will get them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So again, we're going paperless, so everything we do will be paperless, really aimed at enhancing the whole EGP story. Great. So please, I urge you all, read the information on our website. We have put a lot of information there. The email is sent to you, because I realize there's a lot of misinformation or under-information that makes a little bit of things become not as they should be. But we thank you. Thank you for your support, and thank you for everything you do every day for your profession. God bless you. Let's pray. Eternal and everlasting Father, we thank you. We thank you, Lord, for this day, this week. You've been with us since the beginning. Until now, we've come to the conclusion of this forum where we've indeed been in a state where we declare that it's time for us to renew ourselves, renew our energy, revitalize ourselves, so that we go back indeed renewed, sharpened, ready to add value to our institutions. As your word says, iron indeed sharpeneth iron, so it is with us also this week. There's been a time for refreshment, a time for sharpening one another, a time indeed for sharing knowledge and best practice. So we go back revitalized, knowing that we are indeed the salt and the light of our profession wherever we are. Let us go back to our professional places, our spheres of influence, ready to shine the light of integrity and professionalism, knowing, Father, that we are the change agents you've been looking for. I pray for strength to resist every temptation, strength, Lord, to know that everything we do is indeed seen by He who sees everything that's done in secret or in the light. Help us, Lord, indeed, Father, to be strong enough to come against every challenge that comes against us. Father, knowing that, Lord, we shall be held accountable on that day, that we shall all be called to account. We pray, Lord, that indeed, as we go back, let us be people that are of courage. We pray for courage to withstand every challenge from above, things that indeed are beyond our control sometimes, because, Father, indeed, we are here with the skills that you have equipped us today, able to discern the spirits, able to discern the things that indeed pertain to our operating environment in this very volatile and turbulent operating environment we work on. We thank you, Lord, for our members as they go back. Lord, help us to continue keeping in touch, being a strength to one another, being a person, a people that we can have somebody we can talk to from time to time. And now, Lord, to you who is able to do exceeding abundantly. Above all that we ask or imagine, to you be the glory and the honor forevermore. Place the lunch ahead of us, sanctify it for the good of our health and the bodies. And Father, finally, as we go back to our loved ones, we pray for your protection in the highways and byways, whether in the rails or in the trains or in the air. Be with us until we meet our loved ones again. We pray all this, trusting you've heard us. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. And now may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, the fellowship of the Spirit, be with us now and forever. Amen. God bless you till we meet again. Asante sana.